Let's begin with what I think is probably the more interesting, tighter contest between the two. Italy won all their games so far, taking on Spain. You never know what to predict. What do you think will happen?
Well, I think that this is such a great game because I think you've got very contrasting styles, first and foremost. I think you've got two teams that are kind of on the same journey in terms of kind of going again, starting again. But Spain, I think, are 2 years behind in terms of doing that. Luis Enrique, had to leave his post, came back, and then has made these big calls like no Real Madrid players in the squad. Koke not just coming back into the squad after 2 years, playing pretty much every game. So some big calls from Luis Enrique, whereas Mancini, I think after the failure to make it to the World Cup, he's gone, okay, let's have a look at what we've got here. I think he gave 23 players debuts over the next sort of 2 or 3 years and to get together a team that he wanted to. And I think the line that a lot of people have been talking about is that they're playing like a club side. And what that means is, that sounds like it's bad, but it's a good thing. They play very fluently. They play as if they really, really know each other and play not every other month in international football, but like they've been playing with each other for years and years. And that's because of two things for me. One, Mancini has gone, this is how we are going to play due to the personnel that we've got. And secondly, that personnel, the depth of the squad in terms of star names is maybe not there, but in terms of like for like replacements, I can't, but it's amazing. They only have one plan. They have plan A. They don't really have a plan B, but they've got reinforcements. They've got so many reinforcements that I've been really, really surprised by them. Spain, on the other hand, we know their identity, and it's kind of been the theme of ESPN's football forecast, hasn't it? Us talking about Spain and figuring out, are they good? Are they not good? I'm really still not sure. The best thing I can say about Spain is that I feel like if it hasn't truly clicked yet, and if it does click, then I think for them to have not played that great and be in the semifinals is a positive, because they can click if they can score those early goals. And you've seen in the games that, a couple where they couldn't get that goal, but then when they were able to get the goal, back-to-back games where they score 5 goals. So I've not really answered your question, Hugh. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to kind of create here is the fact that I think most people will say that this is Italy's easily. I don't think it's going to be that simple. I think if it clicks for Spain, then Italy could be in trouble. How do you feel about it?
No, look, what you say there is really interesting because Spain have had 99 shots in their 5 games so far. And if they'd had better finishing, we'd probably be talking about them as being some sort of irresistible attacking force. Football is all about perception. And now we're talking about them being a side that doesn't really put their chances away. So it has really hung on a knife edge in terms of how we see them, because they could have played exactly the same way, just put the ball in the back of the net a few more times, and we'd be saying, wow, Italy really are up against it. But for me, I just think the Italians, it comes down to these two countries, and it's about DNA for me. Spain under Luis Enrique, some of you watching this won't remember the years where Spain were the nearly men of international football, always had great players, technically fantastic, never really produced on the big stage, but always played with a more pragmatic style. But of course, the tiki-taka years have brought us the best of Spain. And now this squad is almost wondering, which identity will it fall into? Should we be a little bit more pragmatic to get the best out of the players that we have? Or should we try and reach the heights that, of course, the World Cup winners and back-to-back Euro winners did in years gone by, and not too far recent past as well? But the reality of the situation is they need to fall somewhere in between. And you just don't know, like you're saying, what you're going to get from them on that particular day. For me, I don't see Spain going out there and being able to play Italy off the park. But I do think in terms of their possession, I've spoken to you about it before, that they can control the game. It's been really interesting to see the positions on the pitch that Sergio Busquets picks up, Pedri picks up, and Koke picks up. These three, out of all the central midfield players in the tournament, they are holding their position in the middle of the park. They're not moving around to try and get the ball when elements of the game are going against them. What they do is they persevere. And Luis Enrique, of course, given his playing career, would want them to do that. They persevere with the style that they have been asked to play. And they want it to work, and they're well drilled. They're just, as you say, a little bit behind Italy in terms of being drilled on exactly what they're doing, because the Italians, they have a game plan and they know exactly what it is, and everyone is comfortable with it. What is it? 32 matches now, I think, maybe more, unbeaten, 13 wins in a row, I think, as well. Maybe I've got that wrong too, but you know what I mean. They are on sensational form right now. They are the finished article. For me, absolutely the far and away favourites to win Euro 2020. So in this game, really, I think it's that midfield battle. We know exactly how good Italy's midfield has been. For me, Sergio Busquets physically isn't up to it. We know exactly what that Italian midfield will bring. For me, he's just a little bit over the hill in terms of producing physically, but we know what he can do with the ball. And if you allow him to turn and play, he will definitely still hurt you. You've got Koke in there for legs. Pedri, a youngster, the endeavour to get from box to box from him has been sensational. Some of the touches as well, fantastic. We're watching one of the big talents of the future. Can he have a big say in this game? For me, I think it will all be about the likes of Marco Verratti, putting a lid on him early on. And then maybe can you get in and around Sergio Busquets and show up some of those physical attributes at that age that I mentioned previously? Because for me, this is an Italy side in full flow, and they're going to be very, very difficult to stop.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.